if you're into programming with AI and you're concerned about security, and not always giving your code out to some LLM out in the cloud, this is an important episode for you to watch. Joe Baker's Remedy Report. All right. I'm Joseph William Baker, and or maybe I shouldn't say that I am. That's the name anyway, and I've got a registered service mark on it. So as you can see here, should try it. Anyway, back to the coding stuff. We'll keep it focused and on target here. So what are we talking about? Cline is a plugin for a code editing environment called VS Code, Visual Studio Code. And let me show you a little bit what it looks like. And I apologize for the frame rate. Anyway, so you have all this stuff going on here. This is a task. You type it in here and you start, and then it runs through all this stuff. I was trying to get a local LLM to work. Anyway, here's the magic, right? I'll show you this is called Cline. It's the tool, anonymous coding agent, right in your IDE, integrated development environment, capable of creating, well, kind of hard to read that one. This is creating, editing files, running commands. And here's some features that it has. I don't know. I just love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Cline. So I've got also something I can show you back here. Is their website. It's at cline.bot, cline.bot, and open source AI coding, uncompromised, and you can install this on Windows, Linux, or Macintosh, and it goes inside of VS Code. VS Code, let's see if I can find that for you. Did I show you this? Yeah. How do I do that? Oh, you know what? Something's happening. Where I do a new window, it isn't showing up. VS. All right, so here's Visual Studio Code, an open source AI code editor, but it's written by Microsoft. So you might want to look at another one that does, it's built off the same code base, but doesn't send the telemetry information back to Microsoft. It's called Codium. So you could look into that. I love it. There's a feature I absolutely love about connecting to remote computers and then having the power of AI to help me understand what's going on in that remote system. One of the limitations I've run into, though, is that it installs like an agent on that machine to interact with the VS Code environment. Anyway, I want to get back to what we're going to do here. We'll talk about that a little bit later if you're curious. Get back to me. Maybe I'll do another episode on it. But I want to build that. I want to build that thing, that agent, so it has static files. In other words, it doesn't depend on libraries or special kernel functions on that remote machine. That would be awesome, because I deal with some really old machines. Like, people have telephone servers that run Linux and a program called Asterisk. And man, that stuff, talk about complicated. And that's where AI comes in. You can really do a good job with it. I'm going to bump up my power performance. I'm already on performance. Huh. Yeah, the screen lagging, I guess I'm just using I'm using Streamlabs. And anyway, let's get back to the real value that I'm going to put in this thing, and it's on the screen. There's a config file when you want to use LM Studio. And I haven't really talked about what LM Studio is, have I? Let's do that. Maybe I did show this in the beginning, but this is LM Studio. So a language model, right? That's what this AI stuff is. They put a bunch of language together, and then they have the machine just do all kinds of crazy iterations with machine learning. That's where this gets crazy, because the LM and then there's ML, language model, and then there's machine learning. So you see a lot of those when you're getting used to the AI stuff. So LM Studio basically lets you run these different large language models, like this one, GPT OSS. Let's see, by OpenAI, right? But it takes a lot of RAM in your video card, your video graphics card, like 16 gigabytes of RAM. And well, I've gotten it to run, and thanks to the LM Studio. Also, there's another one competes with LM Studio called Ollama, and I was more in the Ollama camp for about a year and a half, and now I'm starting to look at LM Studio as I don't want to say it's better than, but for my purposes right now, it's important. And because I've been on Linux, I don't think LM Studio's attention has been focused on Linux enough. It doesn't run like a typical Linux program does. And that's what I wanted to show you here today. How, if you're a Linux geek, or whatever, you like to use Linux, and you want to run your own large language model on Linux, I think you should know how this is done, particularly if you're going to integrate it back with VS Code and the Cline plugin. Right. So where do we go from here? I'll just take a break, let you know I'm Joseph William Baker. I run a big project called forgivenesscapital.com. I could put that on the screen. Maybe, maybe not. And I think of myself as a venture capitalist, and I venture into ideas and things that we can do on a daily basis to make our lives better. And it doesn't really necessarily take money to do that. We can put our intention, we can put our focus on things that will create a lot of value for the world. And value isn't always money, right? I mean, money itself is kind of an illusion. So, but the value is perhaps more real than the money that we deal with. So, anyway, I'm into those kind of things. If you're interested in the kind of things I talk about, you might want to read the Forgiveness Public License. It will blow your mind. I need to rewrite that thing. I've got a website, health.forgivenesscapital.com. If you need some kind of sound healing or something like that, or tuning fork stuff, I'm kind of a shaman in those realms. So let me know, and I can brings some cool stuff to bear. Let's get back to this LM Studio, how we're going to fix. Essentially, this config file becomes very important. If you want to make the port available to VS Code, you've got to get into this file and edit it. So let's get back over here. All right. So you've got this icon on the side here. This is just my Ubuntu icons for the desktop over on the left, and then you get. I'm not sure you can see that. So you just see this. Okay. So here's like your Explorer. You're going to want to open a folder where you have your files. You can search for things. And what is this here? The folder currently doesn't have a Git repository. You can initialize one, which will enable source control features. That sounds like a good idea. I haven't used that. I haven't used that. Here's one of the things I love is this remote Explorer and being able to connect to specific remote hosts. And like, I don't know, I've engineered VPNs and stuff for a couple of the sites I manage. Anyway, there's that. Again, this is the plugins. Cline is a really important one. Somehow I like these remote SSHs from Microsoft too. This is the icon for Cline. So when you want to get to the Cline prompt, click on this. Like, it's like a robot face, 2 eyes, I guess. And so here we go. And once you're in Cline, I think the first time you run it, it's going to want you to sign up. You can get an account with the Cline folks, and that's a good thing to have because you get access to free LLM services sometimes. Like right now, until the 10th, XAI has got Grok Code Fast 1, and this thing is blazing fast. It's got a huge context window, and I've been just writing tons and tons of code with it. In fact, I'm really I'm really giving you guys a lot by taking time out from coding because I view that as a huge opportunity right now. But here's the thing. You can choose from your AI provider instead of Cline. OpenRouter is a great one. They've got all these things in here, and much more than that. If I click the X, you can see all these things that it has. And you pay for them by most of them, unless they have the word free in them. And then they're probably training off of the stuff that you're writing, if it's free. All right. And, but anyway, they can cost a lot of money. So here's the thing. I've connected to local Olama. Olama runs locally, but there's one down here called LM Studio. I hope you can see that. So I just clicked over there. Let me look and make sure I'm getting everything right on the screen. That's good. So, and then with LM Studio, as long as you're on port 1234, like is the default, you don't have to use the custom URL. And then you get a list of all the different LLMs that you've installed with it. So the one that's working, we're going to stick with today, is the Qwen3-Coder-30b parameter. And I've gotten this to work with a context window sizing of 16,540 bytes. You have to choose this use compact prompt. Otherwise, well, your mileage may vary, but it's useful because, I don't know, Cline writes a lot of stuff into their system prompts, and it's a lot of it is how to run an MCP server, and we're not able, I think, at this point to run an MCP server with Cline and Visual Studio on the local host. So anyway, we do that. We use compact prompt, and this means doesn't support MCP, and it doesn't support the focus chain feature. I'm just getting to know what that means. I don't know. LM Studio allows you to run models locally on your computer. For instructions on how to get started, see the quick start guide. You'll also need Start LM Studio's local server feature with LMS Server Start to use it with this extension. That's hilarious because I've never found the LMS Server Start feature. I didn't read this part, so I had to back engineer how to do this. Okay. So, and then there's more you can learn about, but let's just stop this. I've got to change the way I'm sharing the screen so you can see the little part I want to show you. All right. Wow. Okay. So this kind of looks like what I was just showing you, but up on the top toolbar, there's some more things like the battery. These are operating system icons up here. And one of them is the LM Studio tray item, right? And there are some features in here to look at, like, quit LM Studio. I'm going to quit it so we can start it again. Let me start again. Do, 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 do. All right, so I'm in my downloads directory, and I want to start it. So I put a period and a // It's a Linux thing. LM, and then I hit tab, and there's the file I downloaded. It's an app image file. What the heck does that mean? It means the whole program is written in there. There's a whole bunch of files in there. It's a whole file system. And before you run it, you even have to do, cancel that. You have to do chmod u plus x, and then your LM, capital LM Studio. And user execute. We're adding the execute feature to that file. So then you can do the /LM. And what I found I had to do in here was type -- no -sandbox. Oh, and I'll make that bigger for you guys so you can see it. How about that? Not that big. Huh. I just learned something. All right, so here we go. No sandbox. We run it. And here it is. I'll zoom in so you can kind of see it. And this is the tool. What I found here is a settings icon, and it shows different presets you can have I guess, for different things. So you've got lots of things. And these are things you don't usually see in Olama, like the temperature setting is how much randomness to introduce. 0 will yield the same result every time, while higher values will increase creativity and variance. Um, and here, top K sampling limits the next token to one of the top K most probable tokens. Acts similarly to temperature. Uh, how much to discourage repeating the same token? That's called the repeat penalty. So, lots of things that you ordinarily wouldn't see. And I don't know if this applies when you're running it from another machine, but for sure it applies. I mean, when you're running it from another program like VS Code and the Cline plugin. But here, this is a GUI for the LM Studio, and we can type something. Oh, we haven't loaded a model, so you kind of have to load a model first. But I want to show you how to load it from the tray up here, right? So there's this load model option. I apologize it's so small. Qwen3-Coder-30b. Maybe I should show you how to download one. I'm going to load it here. Okay. And this over here, the purple search magnifying glass, that's the Discover tool. And so you can really download these easily by searching for what you want. Let's say we want DeepSeek. So you type it in there, and it matches a lot of things that were done off of DeepSeek. A lot of them. 103 days ago. Let's see. Right now, you can sort by different things. Most likes. You could search by the ones that like it, that have DeepSeek in it, right? And this is like this is the date, May 28th. They don't put the year in there. Things are going so fast in AI. Qwen3, 8 billion parameters. Probably a good one to have. The 32 billion model, I think, is the one we're going to be running. No, 30 billion. Yeah, that's a little different. And so anyway, click that, and then down here in behind my picture, sorry, it says download. How do I get that for you? I don't even know where my picture is anymore. There it is. All right, take myself off the screen, and so the download is here, and it shows like how big it is. 5 gigabyte. That's not too bad. And the question is whether it's going to be able to use tools. Here it is. Capabilities. It has tool use, and it has reasoning, which is a lot for a small model like that. Over on this side here, we see the status of the download, some of the things that are completed already, and some of these things get updated in the background. You don't even know about it. The models, not so much, but there's some of these tools that are used, and I don't know. It's the llama.cpp file. Looks like there was a new one, which was completed, downloaded. So anyway, here we go. This is downloading away. I imagine I can close this, and we can continue talking about stuff. Right. So I mean, at some point you're going to want to run, I think, you're going to want to run this, an AI thing locally on your machine. Next, we have this My Models icon on the left. And you've got several of them down here. Here's the one we're going to work with, the Qwen3-Coder. I hope I'm saying it right, Qwen. And I'm going to sing the song. There's a guy named Qwen, and he's an Eskimo. It's like, and when the Eskimo gets here, everybody's gonna jump for joy. Come on without, come on within. You'll not see nothing like the mighty Qwen. All right, so it's got a little settings thing there. So we'll click on that. And here's some of the ways that you can edit model default parameters. And I don't know about all of this, but the part that I deal with is the context length. And you kind of have to play with it. This is the actual value. And when you change it, it's actually written to the config file. There's no save button. And it looks like it supports up to a huge 262,000 tokens. But I've got a 16 gigabyte video card, and that whole model has to fit in there, plus the context window. So I've only got about 16K right now, and gotten about that much to work. If you're having trouble, you make it smaller, make it like 4K. It's you need a context window. And I guess the other thing you could do here is balance it a little bit. Like there's this GPU offload feature. And here, I don't know why all GPUs are currently disabled. At least enable at least one to offload. I get this problem on my laptop, and I have to reload the NVIDIA modules. That's strange. That's really strange. Anyway, you're going to want to get this context length thing set right. That's going to be real important. And I'm hoping I'll actually be able to demonstrate this. Right now, it looks like the whole thing is going to go run on the CPU. But we'll see. It may not be as grim as... So it looks like Qwen is loaded. So that's good. You can eject it. So there I just hit eject. And that frees up the RAM in the video card. And then you can click here to select a model to load. I'll load this one again, the Qwen-Coder, and a little status bar comes up. If it errors out, it's going to give you an error message down in this corner down here. So it looks like it's loading it into video RAM, and I would say that was successful. I don't see the error message down here. So we're good. The error message is a big block that comes up, says it failed to load. Let's type something in here. Hello. Tell us about Cline and VS Code and how LM Studio can help running local LLMs. Yeah, I don't think it's running off the GPU right now. It was a lot faster before. So then you watch this. It shows, oh yeah, it is running off the GPU. So I've got 56 watts. Normally that's about 30 watts if it's not running inference. We call it running inference when the AI, is working. The large language model and the Llama CPP are doing their dance and they're trying to figure something out. And then this shows the RAM that's used. Let's see. No, that's only 1 gig of RAM. So maybe it's not being used. What is being used down here? I've got an LM Studio thing it's showing. But this is a command called NVIDIA-SMI. And it's really useful for giving you some stats about what uh, what driver you're using, the version and all, and CUDA, what's CUDA file supports you're using. It's one of those words you see if you're going to do a lot of programming in AI. You'll need that. Let's see. Is this updating every 2 seconds? I got the time. It shows the time, and that updates there. Um, the temperature of the GPU, right, and all the processes. Well, some of the processes that are there. I wish I could get this to list all of them. And some things that take up space, I find, are like the GNOME shell. Well, there it's even running. This thing's running off of the CPU, and it actually came up with an answer. And I've got an i9 processor, 13th generation, I think, and 64 gigs of RAM. And that processor has like 24 threads, cores, I mean, and plus some special ones that have hyperthreading. So Visual Studio is Microsoft's popular free code editor with syntax highlighting and IntelliSense, Git integration, extensive extension marketplace, debugging capabilities, terminal integration, cross-platform support on Windows, Mac, and Linux. It's the most common environment for developers working with local AI tools. What is LM Studio? It's a desktop application that makes running large language models locally easy. It provides simple interface to download and run LLMs like Llama 2, Mistral, Phi, support for various model formats, .gguf and .bin, GPU acceleration support, model management tools, chat interface for testing models, how they work together, VS Code with Cline, and Cline with LM Studio, and LM Studio talks to the LLMs. They try to merge this as if they're the same thing, but they're not. It's just a tight integration. So you install LM Studio to run your local models, configure Cline to connect with your local LLM via LM Studio's API or direct model loading. Use VS Code as your coding environment where Cline provides AI assistance. Let's show that. Let's go back here. And now that I've done that, we've got the LM Studio as the API provider. We've chosen a model, and I've configured a context window that will work. Like you may have to go back and iterate down and keep going down in the context window until you get a size that actually works. And then I can say hi. Hi, Cline, LM Studio. And Qwen. Let's see what happens here. It might be so slow because it's not running off the GPU that what is running off the GPU? So what can I cancel? Nothing really much is using it. So I think if I maybe close LM Studio, it started up again. Apparently, here I can click this and we can see what it's saying in here. So it is, if it wasn't connecting, it would give us an API error. There'd be something red in here in red letters. It's looking at the context of what's all going on here. So it's probably reading all the files that I have open up here, like this launcher script that I wrote. I had it write all this stuff to launch it so it would be a daemon. But anyway, here's the golden gem of this whole broadcast. There's this file, and I think I have the file name on the screen, /home/uplifting .lm studio .internal /http-server-config.json. And in this file, there's this this thing here, cores true. That's one thing I had to change in order for the interoperability to work between LM Studio and Cline, and then the port 1234. That's their default port. Better just sticking with a lot of defaults when you're doing AI coding and stuff. Like when you go off in the beaten path, like all the example codes and everything else, there's a certain force of nature that comes back all the time. Let's see, I'll get myself back on here. Put it down there. Let's check the chat. I don't see anybody leaving any messages. Great. So that's what I wanted to show you. And that's a really big thing. So now that I've got this, I'm going to stop the server, I guess. And I'm going to start the server on port 1234. I'm going to try to load the model again. And this time it's this one. And then I don't know if the GUI is still there. Yeah. It looks like it's good. Let's go back here and see. There's the kind of API error message you get. So we'll hit retry. And then I'm going to also look back and see if our GPU is working. Yes, very good. Just restarting LM Studio helped. No, I think I just saw it at 16,000, but now it's only 1,600. Sometimes those numbers are hard to shake. All right, I'm going to stop the server again. We'll get an API error in short order. I'm going to quit LM, unload all models. How about that? and quit LM Studio. Go back over here and use our history. Put that up the top of the screen for you. Make it a little bigger, maybe. That's pretty good. And again, I've got the no sandbox option on it. Just something I ran into where it wouldn't work, and that's the solution I did that got it to work. All right, I'm gonna minimize this. I'm gonna go up here, start server on the port. Load model, Qwen3-Coder. That was kind of interesting. You can see stuff going on here, some error messages. There might be a way to turn up the verbosity of the error messages on the command line. All right, now I'll go back over here and hit retry. Dig nabbit. Anyway, we're very close. You know, your mileage may vary. This was working for me. That's nice. This shows the loaded models. But every now and then I need to reboot. Oh, that's what I'll do. I'll quit LM Studio, and then I'll run my, let's see, cat tilde/ GPU fix. Come on. I guess it's called fix GPU. So I wanted to show you what's in that. It's got these commands here to remove the NVIDIA module, the NVIDIA_UVM, and then to load it again. When I put my computer into suspend, it causes this problem. I'm going to edit that. VI. Oh, it's a read-only file. Quick. I have to do that with sudo. So it says it's in use. So what is it in use? Let's see. PS. So there, I've stopped the Olama services. I've disabled it from starting on boot. All right. Let's see if we can Now we've succeeded in doing the GPU fix. We've unloaded and reloaded the modules. So now I'll run LM Studio again. I got to get in my downloads directory first. There we go. And then I could reload this here. Let's see if it works. I'll reload Qwen-Coder. Watch the status load. Meanwhile, I'll go over, and then there's no error message. Stop server. How about that? It actually started, and it has it's sharing sharing it over the network, apparently. All right, so now we'll switch over to just type hello. Immediately, API request failed. Let's unload the models. Let's stop the server, which isn't the same as quitting. Start server on port 1234. I think I just saw this change. Let me switch that again. Stop server. It did. You see that? The file, the, the editor actually maintains a view on the file and actually shows its content changing. I've never seen a text editor do that before. I'm shocked. Start the server. You want to watch it right here. This is crazy. Start server on port. There we go. It's on. And then I'll go down here and do the load model. Qwen3-Coder. And then down here, it finally shows the loaded models. It updated that as I brought the menu down. That one is loaded. Try this again here. Hit resume task. I think I just said hi. In the meantime, I can look at these settings here. Sorry I didn't make this bigger earlier when we were talking about the NVIDIA SMI tool. Here I've got 15,000 utilization. It's running on the GPU right now. 48 watts of power. That's pretty good. Oh, I got a phone call. Hey, Tom. I'm doing a broadcast right now. What's up? Okay. Or I'll call you. Okay, thanks. Yeah, I don't know. I think so. Okay. Okay. Thanks. Okay, bye-bye. So, we've got this stuff going. Let's go down here. Oh yeah, it's talking. It's crunching away. And it wrote this back to me. Hello, I can definitely help you with that. Here's a simple hello world function in Python. Because I think I just wrote hello to it, and so it wrote all this back. And so it writes all of this in nicely colored and formatted stuff. API connection successfully connected to localhost 1234. So that's kind of nice. VRAM, all issues resolved. VRAM conflicts fixed with CPU service plus GPU GUI separation. Focus. I don't know. Is this what it wrote to me? Or is this from earlier? Let's see what we got to say. Please write a program file for Zimbra mail queue investigation during spam attacks. So we'll see what it does. Now that's more like it. It's actually typing away using the GPU. And let's see if I got my water cooling tower running. And then it asks me questions of let's just pick one of those. And then it's writing code up there. And the left side with the red is the old code, and on the right is the new stuff. I'll change the zoom a little bit here. And this really helps with systems administration tasks. I mean, like, you wouldn't believe. Now, this works on a local machine. What I would like to be able to do is to run this remotely. And then use my own LLM. And I think I can do that in here under ports, like forwarding a port. If I put 1, 2, 3, 4 as a port to export. I'll cancel that. Hang on. That's more so when you're doing a remote connection. So down here on the left, there's the open a remote window. This is great stuff. I mean, it's writing code that would be pretty hard to write. You'd have to have a lot of knowledge about the email server. You'd have to have knowledge about the Python programming language, and you'd have to have knowledge about spam. And it's kind of merging those three specialties together and writing some code to do this. We got barraged with like 80,000 emails. One of our users' email domains didn't have the DMARC settings in it, and wow, we got deluged with this stuff. And so recently I've been having to deal with identifying where the spam's coming from, and finding ways to delete the messages just so we can keep our head above water, and then at the same time work on the DNS demarc. And AI was helpful to me there too. I was able to punch that stuff in, and away we went. Well, I hope that gives you a little feel for what um, I've been enjoying um, about this. I mean, I typically, maybe I should show you that this is one speed, right? This is like we're crawling, and this is what you can expect maybe on a local LLM on your computer. But if you want to throw like $400,000 worth of um, GPU graphics cards at your disposal, wait for this to finish. I can show you how much faster this could be. Touching my head a lot because I had a surgery done. I had a lymphoma, a little fat globule taken out of under my skin above my skull, and it's got a stitch there. And these don't always work the first time you run them. And so the beauty of this is that if you run it and you test it in the environment, it can also read the error messages that it gets back. So AI becomes aware of the testing environment and can act on its own to go back and edit the file again and make the corrections, um, or whatever. If it has more access to the system, it can do that too. I didn't mean for this to be so in depth, but I'm glad it's writing it. I mean, it's doing a great job. We're using that just the 16K context window. I think it might even show it somewhere over here. This kind of shows steps along the way, chunks that it worked on. Of course, I was using this earlier with a different LLM. I was using an other LLMs to get this one to work. So I use it in my systems administration and system integration work a lot. Whoops. I clicked on that and then it took me to that choice, I guess, where I did that. But it's still continuing. Oh, one of the cool things is if you don't like what happened, you can go back up here. And I'm not seeing it right now. It's strange. There's places where you can go back and you can revoke. I think that's because when we were in this screen, there was a question about whether we wanted to initialize the repository. And I'm not using a Git repository. I need to do that at some point, but I want to replace Git with my own server. There, it finished the file. Hey, how about that? We'll go back to the Cline window dialog over here, see what it says. How about that? Zimbra mail Q spam header Analyzer. Wow. I think it's going back and it's going to do something else. And I just don't have the time for it. So I'm going to cancel the change. And you'll see there's ways of when those backups are enabled, you'll see things where you can go back, you can undo the changes to files, and you can undo the tasks that were done in the mind of the AI, and you can replay some of those. There's something down here, the plan and the act mode are important. When you're in plan mode, let's switch to up to Cline and the XAI Grok Code Fast, and we'll show you the difference. Modify this program as you see fit. The Zimbra spam header analyzer. Oh, I didn't have to do all that. You can just say the @ symbol Zimbra. Huh? Maybe it didn't. Well, and then I hit enter, but I'm in plan mode, so it's not going to actually start doing the changes. It's going to develop a plan. You can see that it's thinking pretty fast. That's almost the speed of LM Studio, not Cline. And I'll hit act. Act has it switch over and start performing all those. See how fast that bugger's going? That's 20 tokens per second versus like 300 tokens a second, and having a 256K context window. So yeah, I'm having a lot of fun using the using Grok's coding AI tool, and I get a lot of this with Grok right now. Unexpected API message: the language model did not provide any assistant messages. So you just hit retry, and it might do it 2 or 3 times in a row where you get the red message, but it's worth it because it's free, and they're learning from the mistakes how to run that better. Just look at that go. It's writing a program to find suspicious headers. This is going to change everything. All right, I just wanted to show you guys that, and so we've done some of this. You can switch back and forth, I think, between these when you're doing projects. Some of the things that I think are happening, though, is you might lose. Oftentimes, it replays the whole the whole task. It's kind of better to start out with a fresh task. There's something called memory bank folders that you want to probably initialize, and a Cline rules folder where it has rules that are adhered to every time you run one of these things. So, and then you can spend more money with these people. You can buy these, like Cline. You'll see when you run it, they have you set up an account and you fund it and all this, and you put money in, and every time you run these things, man, they're dinging your account. So you want to find a balance, one that's like, if you want something really good and well thought out strategy for writing a huge program, you would use this, like Anthropic's Claude Sonnet 4. And you might turn up the extended thinking. That's what this does, and gives you a budget. You can go up there. That one supports images and browser use, and um, another good one is the GPT-5. They have a lot of different models you can buy. You can hook up with here. Again, this is under the Cline provider. So Cline is not only this software, but they've also built themselves um, a bridge, basically, for you to connect with all these different um, things. There's lots of other bridges, like Open Router is one, and they've got a lot of LLMs that you can connect to that are run by service providers that are, they've got the GPUs that are ready to rip into your code and write you some amazing software. And sometimes they're free. Here's Cognitive Computations, Dolphin-Mistral 24B Venice edition, free. And you can take it for a spin and see how it works. They don't always work well in this environment with Cline and VS Code, but many times they do, and it's getting better and better every day. So you might end up with a lot of these kind of error messages, but the results are, the important thing. All right. Well, again, you've been watching, and I haven't been showing you anything because my face has been on the screen. I hope this has been helpful. And I know it's a pathetic video because of the frame rates and all that. And I'm just winging it to give you this stuff. But I wanted to make another video to help people with running local language models on your computer. It's important. It's an important skill we may need someday. So I don't know, maybe download this if you need to watch it later. We do have a chat. Let's see. Jim says none of the local models do well with agentic systems because they are not very good with structured input, output, and planning. Thanks, Jim. Sorry it took me so long to get to your message, almost a half hour, but you should try anyway. Right. This is the foundational, the early steps, but the LM Studio does seem to be pretty quick at helping us adapt and fine tune those settings. Jim Code says Cline's prompts being written for Claude doesn't help too. Yeah, that's probably a good point. But it's open source, so we can. I mean, I haven't done it yet, but we can clone the GitHub for it, and we can get in there and write our own stuff. One of the things I'd like to see done is to trace the data path between the LLM and Cline, and watch for how they like to talk to each other and adapt, and maybe build an improvement there on how try to have an automated improvement funnel that continuously looks for optimizations and efficiencies that can be had, and more specific tool use, for example, like being able to patch a file instead of rewrite the whole file. Would be great. Appreciate you being out there, Jim. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys again later sometime. Bye for now.